Hey everyone, so this seems to be quite a big deal, quite a revelation in regards to tensions that's definitely going to have an effect on trade and investment in Canada. This coming from Saudi Arabia in response to some of the political posturing of the Trudeau Liberals. Headline, CBC News Politics. Saudi Arabia freezes new trade investment after Canada demands activists be freed. Ottawa is seeking greater clarity on statements from Riyadh, Chrystia Freeland's spokesperson says. And as you know, Canada, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but on the East Coast, you know, the Trudeau Liberals and the environmentalists and some of these First Nation groups, they rejected the very concept. Or Quebec, let's add Quebec, because Quebec's another culprit there, about getting some of that good Canadian oil, some of those oil sands resources to our Atlantic ports, to our Atlantic, the big Irving refinery there on the East Coast in New Brunswick, in St. John, New Brunswick. If we had had the Canada East pipeline, well, not only would it create more infrastructure and more jobs and more economic opportunities for those have-not provinces in the East Coast, on the East Coast of Canada, that have been in dire straits economically for a long time, for far too long now, that they've rejected it. And because how they've done that is because, hey, they can rely on these imports from countries such as Saudi Arabia. That's in perilous danger and could possibly be disrupted if the Trudeau Liberals continue to promote their leftist feminist agenda. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not defending Saudi Arabia and their real, true patriarchy of that country, but hey, they're a sovereign country. Canada has no right to dictate or try to tell the Saudi people or the Saudi regime how they're supposed to rule over their own domestic population when Canada has its own problems and issues that they got to deal with. And the Saudi regime is saying, hey, screw you. You might be able to screw with your own population, but you're not going to mess with us. And considering Saudi Arabia, once again, is one of those places where, one of the biggest producers on the planet of oil and extraction and the processes that are contained within that, and selling it to countries such as Canada, they're saying, hey, you want to play games? Well, we might just restrict our trade and prevent any further investments in your country. And trust me, there's lots of places for these Saudi people or these other rich or wealthy autocracies or theocracies. Yeah, they can invest all around the world, folks. It's not like they need Canada. Saudi Arabia said on Sunday that it is ordering Canada's ambassador to leave the country and freezing all new trade and investment transactions with Canada in a spat over human rights. We consider the Canadian ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia persona non grata and order him to leave within the next 24 hours, Saudi Arabia's foreign minister said on Twitter. The ministry added that Saudi Arabia is recalling its ambassador to Canada. Both the Saudi and Canadian ambassadors were away on leave at the time of the announcement. The dispute appears to be over a tweet on Friday from Global Affairs Canada. Canada is gravely concerned about additional arrests of civil society and women's rights activists in Saudi Arabia, including Samar Badawi. We urge the Saudi authorities to immediately release them and all other peaceful human rights activists, the tweet said. So women's rights. So once again, like I say, it's these feminists, it's these SJWs now. Like, look at what they're doing, folks. These feminists literally want to dictate and control the domestic population in Canada, but they're not even happy with that. No, they want to do it in foreign countries as well. So, like I say, I don't think this is going to work out very well because, well, yeah, like I say, I admit that domestically there are a lot of beta Canadians, a lot of sheepish men, a lot of soy boys, I guess you could call them. That's a term, that's a phrase that gets tossed around. But you might want to play that for like the Canadian betas, right? Or maybe some in the UK. But yeah, you're not going to try to pull that shit in some other countries around the world. And we're seeing the pushback that's coming. So now, you bleeding heart liberals, those of you that want to play on this social justice warrior activist team, you want to pump up that kind of ideology, yeah, you go right ahead and do it. But basically, you're not just shooting yourself in the foot. It may lead to the point where you'll bleed out and there won't be very many people around to help you afterwards, because as we're seeing, once you start down that road of identity politics, you can basically eliminate anyone as being on your side, ideologically or politically, because that kind of rigidity, that kind of ideological purity, well, all humans are fallible, and that intersectionality means that you can't place everyone in that nice, neat little box that the established media or the political hacks in Canada have tried and have attempted to do. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.